Right, and we're live. We're floating around in the unknown zone here, everyone. This is really
guys, red hot and heavy, or what?
Red hot and heavy, yeah.
Sure. Yes. This is a big deal for me personally, I got to say, because this is it's a great honor. As someone, you know, I've been
Ronnie Atkins for Pretty Maids, dude.
Yeah, Ronnie Atkins for Pretty Maids. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Ronnie. We'll do our intros really quickly. My name is Jack Mangan. You know me from the Metal Hall of Fame, MetalAsylum.net, the Am I Evil graphic novel, and you know, if you live in my neighborhood, you know me. But anyway, to my left is wearing the rock, representing the Danes with the Merciful Fate shirt.
Merciful Fate.
Whoa! I see. Yeah. Good old.
Melissa. Yep. So Rich Catino from Metal Asylum also, and Brave Words Magazine, and the Metal Hall of Fame, and Sea of Tranquility, which I guest on once in a while as well. And we are joined by, who I said before, Mr. Ronnie Atkins from Pretty Maids. Welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Longtime fans here, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, we got tons of
my red hot and heavy before.
Yeah. So, classic album, right?
Little Future World. I actually got it in this really cool set. If nobody has it, you know this set?
Well, I've seen the cover before. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah. Comes with all those earlier albums. Really cool set, if you could find it.
A lot of the '90s albums, isn't it?
Couple of them, yeah, two of them.
Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah, the stripped one.
Yeah, but the one with the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get that one too. Yep.
I recall.
Yeah, you might like those albums. But anyway, all right. Yeah, we've got a million questions, and you out there, if you're watching, if you have any questions for Ronnie Atkins, fire away. But go ahead, Rich. You get us going.
Okay. Well, let's start off. How are you feeling? Can you give everybody an update on what your status is?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good these days. You know, I'm feeling very good. I mean, I'm still getting immune therapy, and every 6th week, and going to scans every 3rd month. So it is. I mean, the diagnosis is what it is, you know. But a year ago, actually, I had this very bad diagnosis. It was stage 4 cancer. It spread from my lungs to my bones, and that's basically why I started doing this album and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, since that, the cancer has been at ease, you know, and to me, it's pretty surreal sitting here talking to you guys, you know, because a year ago, I wasn't too sure if I was actually going to be alive when the album eventually came out, you know, and because based on what the doctors said, you know, and I know other people who had cancer, it can go quick sometimes, and you can get either really sick or eventually pass away, you know. But I'm so happy I'm still here, and actually seeing the album charging, and and absolutely great reviews, and I'm really overwhelmed and very grateful for that, and especially from all the response I've seen on the social medias and stuff like that. So yeah, it could be worse. I'm very happy.
Good to hear.
Yeah, great. I'll say, you know, I admire your fighting spirit, man. You know, this cancer that you have has hit my family, so I feel it personally, you know, and I'm cheering for you 100%. And, you know, I admire, like I said, a lot of people, I think you've said this too, a lot of people kind of get this and they kind of curl up. You're releasing albums, you know, and you're just living. My hat is off to you. I applaud the way you're fighting, man. It's awesome.
I didn't really have a choice, you know, because I mean, just sit down in a corner and feel pathetic for myself, you know. It's not my style, you know, and the only way I could actually put all the bad at bay, you know, put all the bad things aside, and it was to focus on something good, you know, something positive, which is writing, which I always do and always did, and singing, you know, because that's the best thing in life for me, you know. So I didn't really have a choice. But, and I got to say this in all humble respect to those who is suffering from this horrible disease, you know, I haven't been out there. I haven't been that sick, because I've seen how sick you get from it, because my mother died of the same thing, you know. So I haven't been there yet. I've been going through chemotherapy, a lot of radiation therapy, but I went through it because I was and surgery, of course, to begin with. But I was in a good condition, basically, physically, they said, you know, and that probably helped. And I do everything I can every day. I walk like 10, 12 kilometers. I go to the gym when I can. Now everything is on lockdown and stuff like that. But I do everything I can myself, you know, to get the best out of every day.
Awesome. Hey, you see, you have a question from Jonas Langholm Nielsen. Jonas, I hope I say your name right. He says, I have a question for my buddy Ronnie. Do you have a favorite track on your own?
What my favorite track is from the album? Was that the question?
I guess a favorite track on your own. I see. Here we go.
Oh,
Here's the full question from One Shot. Yeah.
Oh, from One Shot. Okay, I would say, well, I don't know. It's my 11 Little Babies. You know, it's hard to choose one from another. You know, but I probably would say a song like the title track. You know, because it's something special to me because it's got a message. You know, and lyrically, and it's composed on a piano, you know, which inspires you in a different way. And I really like the atmosphere of the song. I think it's got some strong melodies and a good chorus, you know. So, but I like basically. There's not a song on the album I don't like myself, to be honestly. Don't want to sound cocky here, but one shot. If I was going to pick one, I'd probably say the title track, One Shot.
Cool. All right, Rich.
Okay. What did you want to do with the solo album different from what you do with Pretty Maids?
I'll take the whole split myself, all the money myself. No, no. I couldn't. I mean, of course, it's been different because I didn't have. Normally, when I was writing with Pretty Maids, it was me and Kenny writing together. You know, we were sitting with two guitars. But this time we didn't, and I had all these songs that I just wanted to get out of my system, you know, and I wanted to see the light of day. So I don't think I've been writing differently, except this time in January last year, I bought a piano again, and I started writing on the piano, and some of the songs are actually written on a piano, and that inspires you in a different way. But you know, a good song is a good song, and the thing is that whether you're writing on an acoustic guitar or on a piano, it's the way you kind of wrap it up and produce it, you know, and it can go in all sorts of directions. But we just decided, me and Chris, who produced the album, let's go for like you know, melodic rock album, good hooks and stuff like that. You know, let's be a little old school here. I'm a little old school, you know, because I loved a lot of the stuff that came out in the '80s, and some of the stuff. Let me take like a song like "Subjugated." I mean, it's deliberately that we went Def Leppard with that one, you know, because I love Def Leppard. So that we wanted to, you know, make the songs accessible to the people that been following me for the last 30, 40 years, you know, and that's the most important for me. The most important thing for me was to write like 11, 12, 10, 11 good songs, you know, and I think I hopefully I succeeded in that. Yeah.
Well, the album reminds me of a lot of like Journey and Foreigner and Survivor, you know, those type of bands, which is great because even though Pretty Maids has those kind of melodic songs too, this album is really kind of focused on that throughout the whole thing.
That's more focused on the melodic side of it. Yeah, it's not so riff oriented because I mean, Ken was not a part of this, and but the story is behind Pretty Maids because we always had like a foot in both camps. You know, talking about you know, we grew up with all the stuff from the '70s, like Purple, Sabbath, Zeppelin, you know, Thin Lizzy, Kiss, and all those bands, and the new wave of British heavy metal, like Iron Maiden, and all those Judas Priest. And then at the same time, we love bands like Boston, Journey, Foreigner, Toto, Survivor, and all that kind of stuff. And that was sometimes a problem because people couldn't really figure out what is this band all about. You know, the thing is basically just about a good song. It's just about good songs is what it's all about, if you ask me. Because personally, I listen to everything from Gojira, Pantera to the Beach Boys, and not Beach Boys, Bee Gees and Beatles, whatever, you know. To me, a song is a good song.
Cool. All right, Jack.
I can't hear it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We've lost the audio for a second there. Jack can't hear you right now.
Okay.
Oh, you lost me. Sorry, I'm embarrassed.
Back now. Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Gotcha.
So Sharon Wilddollar says, what's your favorite line in a lyric?
My favorite line in a lyric? Well, that's a good one. It takes someone to die for others to survive. Well, that's taken from Before the Rise of an Empire, and I just remember that line because it just talked about it. I mean, I don't know what my favorite line from a lyric is. There's so many good lines. I mean, are we talking about my own lyrics, or are we talking about lyrics in general? I can't answer that question. I can't give you I can't mention just one line, possibly.
Speaking of that song, Before the Rise of the Empire, while you mentioned it, that song could have been on a Pretty Maids album. Was it supposed to be on one?
No, not that one. I mean, when I wrote these songs, some of the songs most of the stuff was written actually pretty written in the spring last year, you know. But then I had a lot of ideas, and I still have a lot of ideas on my iPhone. What I normally do is, when I get an idea, I go and record. I mean, if I have guests downstairs, I'm sitting in the top floor, and we're sitting with guests, having a bottle of wine. Sometimes I get an idea, you know. If I get that idea, I say, sorry, pardon me, I got to go upstairs for 10, 15 minutes. I got to record this, you know. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of stuff. I had a lot of stuff from the last 3-4 years, and if you take a song like I Prophesize, actually, I remember that one because the chorus in that one, I Prophesize, da, 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 you know, that was actually meant for, I'd written on the note, said, possible PM chorus, I Prophesize, you know. Mm-hmm. So, of course, some of the stuff could have been on a Pretty Maids album. Absolutely.
Okay. So, I mean, the lyrics. I mean, the lyrics are always striking. I think from Pretty Maids and to your solo album. The solo album, I guess, are maybe a little more personal. Is that a fair statement? It feels like this is, you know, you're talking a little bit more about what you're going through now, and is that, I don't know, is that a fair comment that is a little bit more personal in the lyrics on this one?
Absolutely, totally agree with you. It is. It's more personal. It's more kind of melancholic sometimes, but more personal, emotionally reflecting, probably. The lyrics are more, this time it's more about me and my situation, and not so much, and other topics as well, you know, but in general, the overall message is like, let's get the best out of life and stuff like that, you know, because we only have one shot. That's what one shot is about, you know, seize the day, live on the right here and now, don't save the best for last, because I know way too many examples on that. It's not, we can do that when we get old, but what if you don't get old? I mean, that's not something you think about. You don't think about death and the afterlife, and is this just stepping stones or the main prize? What is this? You know, you don't think about that when you're young, when you're good, when you're healthy and stuff like that. You know, but when you suddenly end up in a situation where you get diagnosed with a life-threatening disease or a chronic disease, you know, you have to think about it, or you start thinking about it. I did, you know. So yeah, it's more personal. Of course, it is. Due to the situation.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the line, what if tomorrow is too late, really just grabbed me. It just struck me, you know. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Exactly. Right on the spot.
Yeah. Well, you see, we've got a question from Alexander Fox. Says, favorite Pretty Maids album?
my favorite Pretty Maids album. Whoa, it's difficult. It's difficult. I would say, let me put it this way. I gotta mention something like 3 albums, okay? Because I mean, like Hot and Heavy we did back in '84. I think that was it was a very defining album for us. That's where we invented our own style, so to speak. The interaction between good guitar riff, good melodic hooks, the vocals, the keyboard sounds, and stuff like that. And I think, that one, right there. You. It was very defining. I think probably maybe the most important album, if you ask me, that we ever did. You know, because that when we defined ourselves. And then after that came Future World, which is absolutely the most commercial and biggest selling album we ever had, because it was the '80s. It was like a mainstream thing. Yeah, I remember that beauty. And and you know, and actually the song Future World, the title track, I still love playing that song live today. You know, it's probably one of the all-time best Pretty Maids songs, if you ask me. And then as the third album, I would say Pandemonium, which we did like 11 years ago. You know, that's the album where we really kind of got the fire back and started writing good songs again, and teamed up with a new producer, detuned the guitar, got a more updated sound without losing what Pretty Maids were all about, which was about good melodies and good riffs, and it sounds great, that album. And it was the first time we worked with Jacob Hansen. And I would say in general, what we've done the last 10, 11 years, I'm particularly proud of, because we've been very consistent, I think, and we proved to the rock and roll scene, the hard rock scene, that we were still relevant to the business. You know, I've done some good albums and wrote some good songs. I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah,
so,
that was one of my favorites too.
What's that?
That's one of my favorites too. That album.
Good.
Yeah. I would have thrown in Motherland too. That album really got me. That's great stuff too. But your answers are good. I'll accept your answers.
Yeah, well, that's a good album too, and so is Kingmaker or Undress Your Madness. Unfortunately, we never had a chance to play songs from Undress Your Madness, But I like all those albums actually. But Pandemonium is something special to me because it was the first and the album that really got us back. And also, we had a minor hit with Little Drops of Heaven.
Little Drops of Heaven, yeah.
Yeah, and we started seeing like a younger generation of younger people come to our concerts together with their parents, and that was pretty awesome actually. And since that, we just got more and more people coming to our concerts. So amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got another question from Jonas again. It says, "Do you have a favorite song to sing with Aventasia?"
I don't know. My favorite song would that be? It's probably the first one I did with Aventasia. It's called "Invoke the Machine." We didn't do that on the last tour, but I love that. But I love being with Aventasia. It's one great family of good friends, and it's so much fun, and having such a good time. On the last tour, my favorite song was the song called "The Book of Shallows," which was there's always several people involved in the individual songs, But it's been great. It's great working with so many great singers and stuff like that, People that came out in the '80s as well and stuff like that, I was a big Queensryche fan, and I think Rage for Order and Operation Mindcrimes are some of the best, the most important albums for me from the '80s, and suddenly standing on stage and hanging around with Jeff Tate, still sings great and a great guy to be with. It was a very nice guy, So we had a good time. It's fun. It's a small world.
Great. Yeah, we got it. The questions keep flooding in. But go ahead, Rich. Why don't you?
Well, you mentioned Aventasia. Are you going to sing on the next album? Because I know their work Tobias is working on, right?
Are they? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he is. Last time I saw, he's doing some stuff, right?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. If I was, I'm a good friend with Toby. Is a real good friend. He's been been with me over the last year and a half. And all this shit I've been through. And as I said, I enjoy being with the band. But even if I knew I was going to sing, I wouldn't tell you.
All right, fair enough.
Cool.
So the next question is one song that sums up your life now. Tell us. This is again from Sharon Wilddollar.
One song that sums up my life. One of my own songs, or is it just whatever?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, however you want to answer.
Let's just say it's all songs. Okay, Paranoid. No. I can't. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, there's one song that sums up my life from my own new album, and it probably would be Real, because on that song I'm kind of reflecting, about my life, and about life in general. But listen, man, I had a great life. Whatever happens to me in the future, whether I have a year or 3 months or 3 years, hopefully as many years as possible left back on this planet, I had a great life, man. I had the chance and I had the opportunity to live out my dream. Carry out my childhood dreams that I had since I was 10 years old, since I went to my first concerts in the mid-'70s. I've been there, done that. I made my own albums, created my own music, and I performed it in front of thousands and thousands of people, And sometimes in hindsight, looking back on it, I'm very privileged that I had that. I had the privilege of being able to live from my hobby for all those years, And I've seen the world. I've traveled around the world. And many times, and that would probably be Real, because that's a bit about that. Yeah.
Great. So I've got to ask, you've had this amazing life. Are you going to get your autobiography or even authorize a biography? Are you going to tell your story, tell your life story in a book any of these days?
No, I have no plans about that. I know there's a Pretty Maids book coming out eventually at some time. I bit in a bit there, I gave some of my personal opinions and stories to that book. No, I don't have any chance. But the only thing I want to do now is basically just keep writing, create music, and that's all I'm concerned about. I've told my story to so many journalists through the years, and then you guys included, right? So no, there's no plans about. No, I haven't even been thinking about it actually.
All right. Well, hey, we got a question from Eric Haley, who's basically says, is it more fun playing live shows over there compared to the US? There's more. He's current Scandinavian hard rock metal, but is it more fun playing live shows in the US or over there?
Well, when's the last time, before your answer, when's the last time Pretty Maids was actually here? It's been a long time, right?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. We only played on American soil once in our life, and that was in 2012. On the Proc Power Festival down in Georgia. And that is weird. Because it's just the kind of different circumstance. Back in '87, we had the chance where we were played on MTV. We had Future World and Love Games were playing on rotation, and the album was doing great. We had the chance to go out with Whitesnake, who was huge in '87, actually, and, for 3 weeks. And sometimes I just wonder what would have happened if we went on that tour. And then we probably jumped onto another tour and did some gigs on our own, But we could have broken America. We could have had a breakthrough in America back then, I'm pretty sure, because the band was so hot and on fire and everything. But we were committed to do a big European tour with Deep Purple. But that broke us in Europe. So you can't have it all, apparently. What was the question again?
I was asking about comparing the shows. Okay. It shows where you are to here in the US.
I remember. Yeah. I like playing everywhere in the world. I've been playing in with both Pretty Maids and Aventasia. Europe, of course, is where we played the most, and Japan we played a lot. I've been to South America, crazy audiences over there, very passionate audiences. I love playing everywhere, and I like playing the big stadiums. I like playing small clubs with 300, 400 people in it. It's all great, it's just different. And I would love to play in America. I would really love to go there again, because I played there with Aventasia a couple of shows. Right. And it's a great audience, We're not as big, Aventasia is not as big in America as it is in Germany, where it's huge, So, but I enjoy every time people want to listen to me.
Excellent.
I saw you at the Aventasia show at New York when you guys did that one.
Okay, all right. What was that, PlayStation Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that one?
Yeah, the place was packed.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, great show.
Nice. All right. Well, Diego Ramirez has been waiting patiently for this question. He says, Ronnie, what are the best and worst things that the COVID pandemic have affected you?
I think the best thing is that I had time to write and do, because that was all I could do. But the worst thing is that when I was diagnosed with cancer, where I really had the need to be with people, to meet people, to give people a hug, that was like, that happened 2 weeks after the lockdown. I'm telling you, when my son came home from Copenhagen, he was 27 at the time, but he just told the bad news. I couldn't even give him a fucking hug, because I've been in the vulnerable group because my lung tissue was damaged, and actually I'm going to have my second dose tomorrow, so then I should be kind of home safe in that way. But it's been as horrible for me as for everybody else. You've been kind of forced to be antisocial for a year. And literally the last since they locked down in December here in Denmark again, it was opening up a bit, then they totally locked down again. I've only seen basically my kids and my daughter's boyfriend and a sister. That's all I've seen for 3 months, more or less. I haven't met anybody really doing this album. We met eventually at some point in September when it was a little opening in Denmark, but that's it, But I haven't seen a lot of people, and those I've seen is basically seeing the same people all over and over again, So, and I'm looking forward to when this is all over, But it's just like, for me, this whole COVID-19 thing is like it's one step forward and 2 steps back. Because every time you think you're about to, now there's light at the end of the tunnel, now we're home safe, there's a third wave coming now and shit. And countries outside of Denmark, like Sweden, Norway, Germany, Italy, stuff like that, but starting to lock down France, It's just a pain in the ass, and I'm starving to see people. I'm starving like everybody else to go out to live concerts, get some rock and roll, have a couple of beers, and be with people, have a good time together, like everybody else is. And I would say, in particularly for the rock and roll community, this has been a hopeless year, also financially, because not just for the artists, but for the catering companies, all the crew people, light and sound companies and stuff like that. It's been a horror, man. And I think there'll be some kind of a transition anyway when they open up before things will get back to normal. It'll take years, I'm afraid. But I have. Sorry.
Are they trying to do any of the festivals this summer, or that's all shut down?
I think they're all hoping, but the first festivals are starting up in May, and I simply do not believe it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be personally, but that's not what I hope. That's what I mean, it's a very thin line between being realistic and naive, But I think I don't think there's going to be any festival this summer, unfortunately. And I don't think there's going to be any huge concerts in the fall either, But we don't know. It depends on how quickly can people get the vaccine and stuff like that. Right now, there's a big problem with one of these vaccines, AstraZeneca, that people are in doubt because some people have some blood clots from it, whatever, So that slowed down the process a bit. And I just hope we get going again, I mean, if whatever vaccine I was offered, I would have taken it.
Mm.
Yeah. Well,
but to finalize the answer to the question, it mainly just had bad sides to it, this COVID-19. I don't have much positive to say about it. In fact, nothing. The only positive thing I can say about it, it gave me time to watch some series and write some music.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, we got questions coming in. Here, I'll post one more, Rich. Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead. Keep going.
And I'm going to bungle his name, so I'll try Malti Nielsen, and he says a lot of nice things. But basically, his question is: have you ever taken any vocal lessons in your life?
No, I haven't. I mean, I remember back in '84, before I could also answer this question in Danish because this guy is Danish. The name is Danish for sure. No, I went to see that. I live in the provincial city I live in. There was no vocal coaches really, but there was a guy singing in the church. People said, "Well, go to this guy. He's a good singer. He can teach you how to sing." And I went and asked him how. Hey man, I'd like you. Do you give vocal lessons? And he said like. What kind of music do you play? Well, I play heavy metal. So, just forget about it. You'll never be able to. I'll never get able to sing. All right. Thanks for nothing, And I walked away, and I had to teach myself how to sing, because Copenhagen was like a 2-3 hour drive from where I lived, And no, I'm a self-made man, and I have a totally fucked up technique. That's probably why I'm still able to pull it off. I don't know. I got these two different techniques I'm singing with. I'm singing with a more clean voice, and then I have the more growly, kind of heavier, edgy voice, And I had that since I was a kid, even before my pubes, actually. And that's just for me. I guess that's why I sound like not everybody else. I guess But I had problems on the first tours with it because I never learned how to pace myself and stuff and sing right. I think of course I'm matured with age and with the years, and I'm better off. Actually, I've been on a roll for the last couple of years. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm very thankful. I'm still able to sing. I had a period last year in 3 months from January to March where I was like coughing a lot because of the surgery and the radiation. My lung tissue was fucked up, and so I was coughing a lot. And every time I started to sing, I was singing low key, but every time I went for the high notes, I started coughing. And then in April, May, it all loosened up, and I started being able to reach the high notes again. And I was like, thank God. Mm. So no, the answer is no. I never took lessons, and I don't know what kind of technique I used, but it worked for 40 years, more or less. So I must be doing something right.
For sure, absolutely. All right, Rich, I think it's your turn. I know you got a bunch of questions here.
So tell everybody who played on the solo album. Is it any of the guys from Pretty Maids, or is it a whole bunch of other people, if they don't know?
No, I got Alan Sorensen on drums, who played on the Aventasia Man, who was in the band from between 2017 and 19, and he left in 19. He's playing on the album, and I got Morten Sanna, our old keyboard player that was a part of the Pandemonium and Motherland albums. Great keyboard player, great piano player. I wanted to play with him again by all means. He left on his own in 16 for personal reasons as well, so It wasn't my choice. I missed him ever since. And we got Chris Laney, my soul brother, you know, who was playing rhythm guitar and producing the album. It's done a great job. Fire soul, man, really a fire soul. And then I got like the foundation of this band is actually based on the project called At the Movies, which is a project that Laney has, you know. With
that's a great side thing that everybody's doing during the pandemic. Very cool.
Yeah,
awesome. And I did a song for them as well. And that song is actually when I realized the first time I was singing since I got sick. It's the We Don't Need Another Hero, the Tina Turner from Mad Max. And that's when I realized that I could actually. So that was the very same day I realized I was so happy I could do that song. I did in 2 takes or something, and that's when I realized I can reach the high notes still, you know. And that's actually when I decided let's go for this album, me and Chris, you know, and said like hit me, give me a song, stuff like that. But then so. To get back to the question, it's basically the foundation of the At the Movies people, you know. It's the same who's going to play on the album, and Chris suggested let's use these guys. I mean, from the At the Movies because it's brilliant players, and they are brilliant players, all of them. So we said, the easiest way we couldn't meet anything. I had a lot of friends in the business. I could have called upon some of my Aventasia guys and stuff like that, but we just went for that because they all live in Stockholm, close to Chris, and he's used to work with them. So we became those guys, and that's Pontus Edberg was a great bass player who also plays with King Diamond and and stuff like that. We got Pontus Norgren on guitar. And from the At the Movies, Bjorn Street is singing on from Soilwork, is singing on one song, and Linnea, female vocalist, great female vocalist who's doing a fantastic job on the album. You know, it's so great for me to sing with a female vocalist because it gives the songs something different, you know, adds something special to it. And she's great at arranging choirs and stuff. She sounds like a gospel choir on some of the songs, you know. So she's did a great job too. And then we have some of Chris's friends. We have Key Marcello from Europe who plays on one song. We got Oliver Hartman, my friend from Aventasia, who came to visit me last August, and I played in some of the songs. And he said, "I'd love to play on some of the songs." I said, "Yeah, cool, man." So he ended up playing on 3 songs, and a great guitarist, great singer too, actually. And then Pontus Norgren from Hammerfall plays some fucking outstanding, incredible solos on Before the Rise of an Empire and Miles Away. And then we got some people. I don't know these guys, but some of Chris's friends, John Berg and Alan Sundstrom, and this is embarrassing. One more, I can't remember the name right now. Anyways, Swedish guys, but Swedish musicians, most of them, you know. But the Swedes, there's so many fucking great musicians up there. So I'm very happy about the result, and it went very smooth. In fact, I feel a lot of love on the album, you know, because I think that everybody knew my situation and really put all their efforts into it, you know. That's how I feel.
Right. Well, you know,
that's a great group of players. I didn't realize there were so many people that contributed. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's why it was a very expensive album to do, actually. But there's a lot of people, and it gives it some kind of diversity, you know, which I think is great, you know, which also make it sound not just like another Pretty Maids album, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Happy.
Speaking of At the Movies, before we go on, are you going to sing on another At the Movie song?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no plans about it. No plans about it. I won't say I won't, you know. Maybe I will one day just for the fun of it, you know. But now we've been basically doing this, you know. So we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it was a great project. But I wanted to ask, what's up?
That was a big hit. People love that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was great. I mean, we're talking about. Well, I think the whole At the Movies idea is a great concept. I mean, it's a lot of fun, you know. So, and it was a good way to just spend your time when you couldn't do nothing else. Yeah. And I think the Tina Turner song for me also was a way of me showing that hey, I'm still here, you know. I can still do it. And I also proved to myself that I could still pull it off, you know. So it was like giving, for me, it was like giving a little sign of life to people out there, you know, who knew I was sick.
Great. Yeah, I wanted to ask, since we were talking about all these new experiences, like you said, you know, writing on a piano and working with a female vocalist, are any of these things going to find their way back into future Pretty Maids? Like when you're writing for Pretty Maids, you think you'll write Pretty Maid songs on a piano, or bring any other kinds of vocalists in, or any of the other experiences from your solo album? You think those will translate back to Pretty Maids?
Well, I basically write the same way I've always been writing, you know, because you see the lighter side of Pretty Maids, it is also have my big stamp on it, like Little Drops of Heaven, Sad to See Yourself, All For You, and those kind of songs, you know. This is the way I'm writing, you know. So I'm not like thinking it depends on what I do, you know, and I just bought this piano in January last year, you know, for the first time. I used to have a keyboard and stuff downstairs. It's my basement and stuff. I haven't played it for years. I'm not a piano player, man. I'm not a guitarist either, but I play enough to be able to write songs on it. You know, I would never play on an album myself, you know. But I don't know. There's no plans about a new Pretty Maids album at all. So I mean, if I'm going to do anything now, it'll probably be some more music for myself, or eventually a new album. I don't know. You know, I can't plan very, very far in the future. As I said, right now I'm feeling good, you know, but as I said, I'm going to scans every third month, you know, and you never know what you get told. I mean, you can feel good and still be sick, you know, without you knowing it, you know. So that's the most complicated and the most biggest pain in the ass with this disease, is that you don't know where you are. You feel like you have the sword of Damocles hanging over your head, you know, like a gun against your head. It's there 24/7, you know, in your subconscious, and you think about, well, okay, so what I'm going to be told next time. I mean, the week leading up to going to the judges, who are the oncologists, you know, from you've been scanned, is horrible, and that's something you'll never get used to. I'm sure that a lot of people that experience this themselves will agree with me. But so I can't really plan too far away in the future. I just take it as it comes, actually, to go back to your question. You know, living day by day, get the best out of life, man. That's really what it's all about. Occupy myself with something, and that's what I'm doing. That's writing and being with my family and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do a part 2 to my question. Is, you know, you talked quite a bit about being a family man. How do you kind of keep everything in balance between music and family and fans and everything else in life?
Well, it's my wife knew. I met my wife in '85 or something like that, and we lived together since '87. So she's been there, done that. She's seen it all, you know. She's seen the fool and she's seen the husband, you know. When I get out of my house and I, you know, step on the tour bus, I put on a different cap, you know, and it's rock and roll. And I'm the clown, you know. I can fool around and do everything that people are not supposed to do, you know, all the unexpected. That's also what the song Miles Away is about, you know, on the album. That's actually dedicated to my wife, you know. So took all the crap, you know, took care of the kids when I was gone and stuff like that. And I always knew that I had a soulmate I can come home to, you know. She accepted that kind of lifestyle. I mean, it's just the way I was out there, you know. When you live a different life, you know, when you're on the road, you know, it's two different lives. You play a role. It's like you become an actor, but then it's at the same time, just get carried away because you're together with the mates, with the guys, you know. We're having a good time, you know. The adrenaline, you know. You play a concert. After the gig, you go out, you meet on the tour bus or on the hotel. You want to come down. You have a couple of beers in the bar and the bus or whatever, you know. It's just being a 16-year-old kid again, you know. And then again, you go home and then you have to really be the responsible dad, you know. But I always was that, you know. I always tried to be myself, be the one I am. I am what I am, a responsible man, you know. But I've done my share of stupid things in my life as a rock musician. Absolutely. Been there, done it all.
All right. Great. No, great answer. All right. Like I said, we got questions pouring in, but go ahead, Rich. Why don't you ask a question, and then we'll take one of your questions. We appreciate them. Keep them coming.
Yep. Are you going to do anything virtual over the year?
You mean like concert wise or something?
Like yeah, an in studio thing, or, you know, jam with the guys in the band or something. When I'm capable of meeting with the guys, I'll probably go to Stockholm and we'll do something, maybe, you know. We talked a little bit about that, but we haven't planned any further. But now the album just came out. Now I've got to you know, start thinking about, because I got requests coming in for touring and stuff like that, you know. But and as I said, you know, my dream is to go back on stage in some constellation, you know, either with Aventasia, maybe my own project, Pretty Maids, whatever, you know. Pretty Maids has a brand new album out, not a brand new album. It came out in 19, but we never played a single concert, you know, from that. I don't know. I don't have any plans right now. I have a lot of things I want to do, but I don't know if I'm capable of doing it. I would like to go back on stage, absolutely, for sure. That's a big dream come true. And we might do something virtual.
at some point. Let's see. Not finally decided yet, but that's some of the stuff we're going to look into now. Now the album is released and everything, and we've seen the response, and it's good. And,
yeah. Okay.
All right.
Jack?
Cool. All right. Yeah. Like I said, we'll take a couple from that people have asked. So Jonas again, he says, "Who's the biggest rock star you've ever met in person?"
In person, I tell you, who's the biggest rock star and the nicest guy I ever met in person. I met a lot of different people in the. I met all the Purple. We toured with Purple. I met Blackmore. We used to play football with Richard Blackmore every day when we toured with Deep Purple.
Wow.
Strange guy, nice fella, you know, but odd, absolutely. Ian Gillan was a nice guy. I met a lot of Tony Iommi was a great guy. We opened up for Black Sabbath in '83 when Gillan was in the band. I met basically most of the guys I've met in the business has been cool guys, but probably the most fun guy ever and one of the greatest guy. And this is something that really I was really starstruck. Me and Kenny we were going to do one of these cruises, and Ken had a guy he knew from Facebook, a Swedish guy that lived in Sarasota in Florida for 25 years or so, a guy called Thomas, and so he was in contact with Kenny, and Ken said, and he is actually doing all kinds of stuff for Brian Johnson of AC/DC, who lives in Sarasota. And he just said, so when you come over, man, I'll make a barbecue and invite Brian Johnson and his wife Brenda to this barbecue party. I said, yeah, right. I was thinking, yeah, I would love a jam and put on a drum kit and some guitars and stuff. Yeah, right. I said. No, the thing is, eventually we were standing on the porch on the Saturday night, and we were going to leave the day after, unfortunately. But so there was like this cortege of cars coming, you know, and Kenny was looking around the corner of the house, and he said, "Ronnie, it is fucking Brian Johnson. Those little guy coming there with his friends, you know." That was one of the fucking funniest nights we had. He was such a down to earth, super cool. A lot of humor, one of the nicest persons I ever met in the business. And we got to know him, and we got to see AZ had VIP passes after that and stuff like that. And we just had a wonderful night. Kenny and Brian were talking about cars, which is his big thing, you know, and music. I was talking music with him from the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. But the thing is, last year in May, Thomas wrote me a mail and said, "Can I give Brian Johnson your mail address?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, of course you can." You know, and I said, come on, this is bullshit. And I had a very long mail from Brian Johnson where he just said a lot of beautiful, nice things. And no, I'm really sorry, and I'm rooting for you and stuff like that. I didn't expect that, because if I was going to pick one album to bring out on the Desert Island, I'd probably take Back in Black. I mean, he was. I was a big fan of Brian Johnson, actually, as a singer, even before he was in AC/DC, when he played in a 70s band Georgie, that I remember from those songs. She's a Teaser and Electric Lady, and those songs. I was very much into glam stuff in the mid 70s and stuff like that. So Brian Johnson is definitely one of the nicest guys I ever met in the business, and one of the most cool and down to earth guys I ever met, and with a great humor, great sense of humor.
Wow.
Good story. What's the story?
I'll tell you another nice person I once met at the NAMM show in '87 in Anaheim in Los Angeles, outside Los Angeles. That was Brad Delp from Boston, also one of the most gentle and super cool, down-to-earth guys ever. And I was a big Boston fan, you know. I still have $1 with his autograph on it.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, great songwriter too.
Man, I would be starstruck too, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So we got another big one here, but basically Anton Vass is, again, a lot of nice stuff. Talks about seeing you play when he was younger, but he wants you to know your feelings about the Future World album after all these years.
Oh, I'm very happy we did that album, because that was the album that really put us on the map. It was the big commercial breakthrough for the band. And that album is, we just did like a 30-year anniversary live of it, you know, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you played the whole thing, right?
Exactly, yeah. We did a couple of shows, and we actually released it on the album called Made in Japan that came out last year. MAID, right. Japan, right? Game of words. Yeah, man, I'm happy for that album, because I mean, it's the biggest album, the biggest seller we ever did. And it broke the band. So, and as I said, you know, Future World to this day is still one of the it's still one of these songs that I love playing live because it's just a damn good song, and I think it's got all the ingredients a good Pretty Maids song should have. It's one of the best songs we ever wrote, I think.
Yeah, one of my questions was going to be about the song. Well, first of all, it sounds great on that live album. It's you guys are rocking it as hard today as you were 40 years ago, 30 years ago. But it's killer. But yeah, I mean, to me, that song is one of the high impact, just great metal songs, really, of the 80s and of all time. You know, I was basically just going to ask about the impact of that song. I mean, I think you kind of answered that, but it's that keyboard riff, the guitar riff, the way you sing it. It's just iconic. I don't know what else to say.
That is the. I think that song in particular has got all the ingredients of what I think a good Pretty Maids song should have. You know, it's got a great fucking guitar riff, and it's got some good melodic, vocals. I'm singing with a more clean voice and a more aggressive voice, and it's got some great keyboards and stuff. And that's what I think was what Pretty Maids was all about back then. You know? And to this day, still are.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
All right. One more I'll put us, and then Rich, we'll get to you. But so Alexander Fox again, she's asked, do you have any funny, interesting stories from touring? I'm sure you do. She says, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, one of my favorite sayings is, "What goes on the bus stays on the bus." I don't know yet. It's like every time when people say that, you know, we just had a lot of fun on tour, you know. So I had a lot of fun. So I don't have any particulars. We did all the stupid things in the back in the day, where like MG and like a fire extinguisher on the hotels and shit like that, throwing televisions out, and we, you know, all the rock and roll thing when you're a young kid, you go out, you know. So we did all that, but of course there's been a lot of funny episodes and stuff like that. But it's difficult for me just to pinpoint out one. You know, we just had all the fun in the world.
All right, Rich, what do you got?
Did you ever? Well, before I ask my question, did you ever have one of those Spinal Tap moments?
Oh, yeah, we probably had. You know, but it's always when you ask me that kind of question, I can't remember.
You don't mean the exploding drummer, right? You mean like not? You don't mean the drummer exploding on stage. You mean like not being able to find the stage?
Yeah, whatever. Anything that happened in that movie.
we had like well, it's typically you know, we had one I remember when we did the Pandemonium tour. It was actually one of the first shows on the tour, you know, and we start off with the intro for normally we started off with the intro for Pandemonium, right? And then people go out on stage and stuff, and then then Morten he started off the intro for Little Drops of Heaven instead, you know, and just totally fucked up the whole thing. It just took off the whole magic of the beginning of the big build up, stuff like that. And yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's one of them. That's probably a lot. I can't remember right now.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Rich. You said you had a question you wanted to follow up. Any
plans for any Pretty Maids reissues, like maybe some of those albums from the 90s, you know, the middle period or anything?
Well, there was a Frontiers Records actually released a box set like in 2018. I think it was 2018.
Oh, that's right. Which has a couple of those in it, right?
Yeah, but that's all the stuff actually. All that's what I call the forgotten years. You know, it's everything from the album. I think it's everything from Scream in '95 up until Planet Panic. No, Wake Up to the Real World in 2006. So
okay, I think I do remember that. Is it still available?
I don't know if it's sold out, but it should be actually. It's called A Blast from the Past, as far as I remember. But
okay.
I don't know if it's available right now. It should be, but it came out in, I don't know how many copies they did of it, actually.
Oh yeah, it's A Blast from the Past. I'm just looking it up now, see if it's still available. I forgot that did come out.
Yeah, but it was actually just to give all the new fans that got into us the last 10, 11 years since the Pandemonium album and the following albums, okay. So give them a chance to see what the band was all about in the 90s, you know, because those albums were not accessible anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be. And I think actually you can buy some of them separately as well.
This looks like it's got Pandemonium's in there.
Oh yeah, Pandemonium and Motherland and those albums are in there too. Actually, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Pandemonium. It's hard to see the artwork. Yeah, there's 4 albums I think in this one.
I think there's everything from '95 up until 2016. Actually, I think Kingmaker is the last one that is there.
Yes, yeah. So, but you don't know if that's still available. Oh, it said somebody saying it's sold out.
Yeah.
Well, I can check. I don't know right now, but it should be somehow, because there's still people interested in it. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'll check it out with the record company. But I mean, sometimes I think it's about them taking orders in, and then they have a certain amount of orders because it's a pretty big thing, It's like a big bar. I don't think they're going to print a hell of a lot of them and just have them in stock without selling them, I guess. So, but I will ask the guys actually to see if they'll be available.
Okay, Jack, you got another one?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. I know we got a few more minutes. One question I wanted to ask is, so you still live in Denmark, right? You still live there?
I'm actually the only one who lives in the area where the band origins from, where we came from, So the other guys lives in either Sweden or Spain or Copenhagen, So
okay,
I'm the only one left back, and now I'm not going to move.
Well, my question was going to be about the Danish music scene. Tell us a little bit about, Rich's got the Merciful Fate shirt. Tell us just about how, you guys are all connected to each other and some of the great bands from Denmark that people should know about, be listening to.
There's not really a lot of it. There's not a big heavy metal scene in Denmark. I mean, there is a scene, but there's a lot of the new bands I don't really know. It's pretty heavy stuff, growling kind of stuff. I'm not really too much into that, so I don't really know. But it used to be underground when we started out in the '80s, and we hang out when we got to Copenhagen to see Judas Priest or whatever. We hung out with King Diamond and the guys from Merciful Fate and stuff like that. But I haven't seen those guys since. I haven't seen King Diamond since mid '90s or something like that. And today he lives in Texas, I think. Dallas or something. I haven't seen those guys, but the scene here in Denmark is like there's another melodic hard rock band. It's not really metal, I guess. Well, maybe it's some of the stuff. It's a band called Dizzy Miss Lizzy, who is it's pretty good. Absolutely worth to check out. It's melodic stuff too, and then there's old bands like DAD and stuff like that. You probably know those guys. And there's Volbeat, of course, And then there's some underground kind of band called Danish names, I think, but I'm not too familiar with them, to be honest.
All right. Well, and Anton Vass says, do you know Kim Larsen, another favorite artist from Denmark?
Oh, Kim Larsen. He was my big idol. He was in a band called Gasoline, and that was the band I grew up with. He unfortunately died from cancer like 2 years ago or something. Very sad. I shed a tear the day he died.
All right. All right, well, yeah, we got a couple more minutes, so if you have any questions, we'll try and get them in at the last minute. But go ahead, Rich. I mean, I know you got, between the two of us, we got more questions, but go ahead.
Well, I was just looking up that Blast from the Past. There was actually like almost 12 albums in there, right? That might be a special edition of it?
There is only that edition called Blast from the
So it's got 12 in there then, huh?
Probably, yeah. I can't remember. For everything from '95 up until 2016.
Yeah, so that would be from like Scream up to, like you said, Kingmaker, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good set if it can become available again. Then.
Yeah, I'll ask the guys.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody got questions there, Jack? You said somebody else had a question as I was looking that up.
Well, and I'm just saying, I see lots of comments, and yeah, we've had a lot of love has come through. By the way, Ronnie,
Yeah.
We haven't been able to post all of them. A lot of great questions, a lot of love, especially Sharon Wild Dollar. Thank you all for the great comments, questions. I've got maybe one you like to answer, Ronnie. We talk about Future World and some of the big songs. What are some hidden Pretty Maids gems that people should be more aware of that maybe you thought were going to be monster hits and didn't get as much attention?
Or from the previous albums we've done. There's always songs. There's always songs that you think, oh, this is gonna be a smash. When you've written it and stuff, and when they would produce it, it ended up maybe not as good as you wanted it to be or thought it would have been. But there's a lot of songs on some of the Pretty Maids albums that I thought should have had a better fate than it eventually had. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's an album like Spooked, which I think there's a lot of good songs on that album from '97, but it came out in a period, as we call the forgotten years, where traditional hard rock and heavy metal, the stuff we did, was not as hip as it was in the 80s. You know, it's now when it was suddenly there was all these soft genres up in the 90s, like new metal and all that kind of stuff. But on the so-called the 2 albums called Spooked and Anything Worth Doing Is Worth Overdoing. That's
from '99.
That's from '99. There's some good songs on those albums. There's some good songs on all the albums. But as I said, in particularly, I'd say the last 10, 11 years, I really think we've been on a roll, and I really think we've been consistent and written some good songs in those years. It's definitely worth to check out. For those who don't know the past of the band, who only know what we've done the last 10, 11 years, you should really get hold of that box set, because then you get all, except from the classic albums from the 80s and stuff. That's on Sony Music, and they still got the rights for that. But check out that A Blast from the Past, and then I promise I'll check out if it's available. If it's not available, I'll tell them to make it available. Hopefully they'll listen to it.
Reissue it. I thought it was just more of the recent albums, but yeah, it's everything from like Scream, right? Scream up to the current stuff.
Yeah, but it's the only one. I mean, Undress Your Madness is not on that album, because we were actually.
Yeah, because that's the most recent one, so it goes up to Kingmaker.
Yeah, it's up until Kingmaker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True.
All right. Well, I don't know. Like I said, we want to say thank you to everyone. I want to say thank you so much, Ronnie Atkins. It's really been an honor. As I said, it's a big deal interview for. I'll speak for Rich in this case. For Rich and me, it's a big deal. We've been fans for most of our lives. So, Rich, I don't know if you have anything else you want to ask. Otherwise, Ronnie will say, just take us out with some words of wisdom or some great insights.
Let Ronnie take us out, and what we could expect from you for the rest of the year.
Depending on the COVID-19 situation, what can I expect from me? I don't know. There's some plans. I can't really tell, because we haven't really made any final decisions. But as I said, I'll keep on writing, and let's see what it end up with. You know, maybe I'll start recording something this year. I hope so. And then, as I said, I hope I'll be back on stage at some point, if it's possible in the fall. Maybe I'll do some. I might even do some acoustic shows or something like that over here to begin with. I also got to check out myself in a live situation. Because one thing is singing in the studios and walking around home here, singing with the piano and yelling with the dog and stuff like that, you know, because I lost 20% of my lung capacity, basically, you know. So when you're in a live situation, it's something different, you know. But I'm in for it, man, and that's a goal in itself for me, to go back on stage. But I hope somehow I'll be back and play in America at some point.
Yeah,
of course I hope that. I definitely hope that. And while I'm here, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching, and thanks for all the love that came my way during the last year and a half, especially the last year and a half on the social medias, and all the nice messages and beautiful greetings and everything, you know, from American fans too.
And you have an official Facebook page too, so people should check that out, because you keep that pretty updated, right?
Ronnie Atkins Official. You can always check out on that page what's going on. I'm on Instagram as well.
Yep.
So you will be updated there, for sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yep. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you, Ronnie. Great time. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Nice being here. Nice talking to you. Take care. Take care of yourself.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.